Hi everyone, welcome to liveclass.lk. I'm Rukshan Galanga, who is going to be your advanced business reporting lecturer. Today, from this video, we are going to focus the syllabus what we need to follow during the next few months under the business reporting, advanced business reporting subject, right? So we'll focus the advanced business reporting syllabus. Right. So basically, we have taken this syllabus mainly from your study pack because Chartered Institute has instructed all the registered lecturers to follow the syllabus areas which they have given in their study packs. So we have directly taken this syllabus from the study pack material which has published by the CS Sri Lanka. Right. When we look at the syllabus structure, the structure of your syllabus, we can basically identify with the weightages what are the main key areas which covers from your syllabus, right? Basically, it covers 5 main aspects in your syllabus, right? We'll look at one by one what it tells in the syllabus, right? The first one is to interpretation and application of Sri Lanka accounting standards and recent development in the financial reporting. So basically, when we follow this chapter with this section of your syllabus, we can learn all the accounting standards published by CS Sri Lanka, and also we need to cover accounting standard which cover both SLFRSs and LKSs plus IFRICs and the SICs. We'll learn what are those IFRICs and SIC in due course, right? So under the accounting standard section, they have they have weighted 35% in your examination paper, right? So then we can see the second part, which is preparation and presentation of the consolidated financial statement, which with having a 20% weightage in the syllabus. So you can see what are the contents, we can see what are the contents which included in the syllabus. So preparation of and the presentation of consolidation financial statement will cover 20% of your syllabus. Next one, the part C of the syllabus will explain evaluating the risk of material misstatement in the financial statements, right? How we should get the knowledge to evaluate any material misstatement in the financial statement in the concept of materiality. So that is also covers or give the weightage of 25% in your syllabus. And next one, in the next section, you have corporate governance and the non-financial reporting, because most of the parts we learn under the syllabus is financial reporting, but other than that we have topics relating to the non-financial reporting in your syllabus. We'll look at what are the sub-syllabus areas that covers under that section, which has 15% weightage in the syllabus. And finally, the ethical issues in the financial reporting and the regulatory framework, which covers 5% of the total syllabus, right? We'll briefly look at what are the contents given in each section in your syllabus, right? If you look at the section A, as I explained you in earlier, we have taken the syllabus is given for the interpretation and application of Sri Lanka accounting standards, right? Under this Sri Lanka accounting standard, I wanted to say there are SLFRSs, LKSs, IFRICs and SICs, right? A combination of those standards and the interpretation will be covered during our sessions, right? So basically we are covering SLFRS and LKSs, which known as Sri Lanka accounting standards, and IFRICs and the SIC. So you can see what are the areas that or the standard which covers under the syllabus, right? We'll look at you have the regulatory and the conceptual framework to cover under these standards, right? Regulatory framework, which means the laws and the regulation applicable for the accounting, right? And the conceptual framework comes under the standards, right? So that will be the starting chapter of the Sri Lanka accounting standard. So we want to learn about that aspect. Then presentation of financial statement, which basically LKS 1, and especially we can cover LKS 34 interim financial statements also under this, right? And non-current assets which is basically the property, plant and equipments, and intangible asset, which is intangible asset standards, comes under LKS 38. And impairment of asset, basically the LKS 36 will cover impairment of the assets. And leases, it is a very latest standard introduced, which is SLFRS 16. And other standards relating to the assets, such assets like inventories, agricultural assets, that sort of standards comes under these topics. And also provisions and the events after the reporting period, which comes from the LKS 37 and LKS 10, right? Those standards comes under this part. Also you have revenue standard. This is also a new standard introduced recently, right? Revenue standard. Then income taxes, which is LKS 12, right? And financial instrument. Under financial instrument there are number of standard covers, especially SLFRS 9 we are going to discuss, and SLFRS 7, right? LKS 39, those combination of those standard will cover the financial instrument parts. And employee benefits, which comes under LKS 19. And the disclosure standard, basically there are disclosure standards in relating to the, especially for the related parties, right? And segmental reporting, that kind of disclosure standards are there that we need to learn under this interpretation, the accounting standards and the other interpretation. So once we done this chapter, which covers 35% of the syllabus, you are thoroughly known about your the accounting standard. You can get a good idea, thorough idea about the accounting standard, right? Okay, so that is comes under the part A. And the part B, which discussed the preparation and the presentation of the consolidated financial statement, which is very interesting part, which has 20% coverage in your syllabus, right? So under this consolidated financial statement, we are going to discuss about the principles of the consolidations, which basically comes from there are range of standards that we need to cover, especially separate financial statements. There's a separate standard for that, and for the investment in associate, and SLFRS 3 business combination, SLFRS 10 consolidated financial statements, those standard, and SLFRS 11 for the joint arrangement. Those standard will cover the basic principles, and the once we done all the related standard relating to this consolidated financial statement, you can familiar with the consolidated financial statement. Other than that, we are going to discuss step acquisition and the disposals. That means step by step some companies are acquiring other companies. In that case, how to do the financial reporting process, or the how we can account for that sort of a transaction. And disposals offer, some companies are like selling the company on step by step basis. So in that case, how we should treat those in the financial statement, that we're going to learn under this. And complex group structure, the group reorganization, especially we have some complex group structures, D-shaped group structures, vertical and horizontal group structures. Those different group structures have different method of accounting, right? So those we are going to discuss under this part. And the statement of cash flows, especially statement of cash flows covers individual entities statement of cash flows and the group cash flows, which basically comes from the LKS 7. And foreign exchange issues, especially this comes separate standard for the foreign exchange issues. And also in the case of acquisition of a foreign subsidiary, right? A foreign subsidiary, how we're going to treat and how we should convert that balances and prepare the particular financial statements in one currency under the consolidation will be learnt under the this category. So which covers 20% of your total syllabus, right? So when it comes to the section C, right? Section C will explain how to evaluate the risk of material misstatement in the financial statements, right? Which comes 25% syllabus weightage in your syllabus, right? So there we are going to learn about true and fair view and the risk of the fraud, right? Normally where the preparation of financial statement is a responsibility of the management. They should give the true and fair view of the financial statement, where the auditors can then give their audit opinion saying that financial statement are true and fair view without having any material misstatement, right? So to do that, the accountant's responsibility is to prepare the financial statement to give the true and fair view, and especially the fraud risk is very important factor or an important topic discussed in the current scenarios. So that part is also we are going to discuss under the this section, right? The next one is the going concern and the materiality, because going concern is an essential assumption that we need to make when we prepare in the financial statement. So we are going to discuss how we are going to disclose the facts and the going concern in the financial statements, and especially the materiality. So materiality is a very key or a very important areas when preparing the financial statement. So we are going to discuss about this materiality as well. Then analytical procedures and analytics, right? So analytical procedures will give us because analytical procedures will helps us to analyze and identify particular variances in the financial statement. So that is very important part. It is also going to be covered under the standard. And internal control framework, which is a very important one, right? There are different internal control framework. Like when we prepare the financial statement, we prepare financial statement either by Sri Lanka Accounting Standard, or either by Sri Lanka Accounting Standard for small and medium sized entities, or either by the Sri Lanka Accounting Standard for small entities, right? Likewise, we use different accounting framework to prepare the financial statements, right? Same time, for the internal control of an entity also, we use and we follow some frameworks. Like there are some frameworks like COSCO, COCO, like that sort of frameworks are there. We'll learn about those frameworks as under this section, which covers 25% of your syllabus. So when we go to the next part, which means the corporate governance and the non-financial reporting, because we are always talking about the financial reporting, but non-financial reporting is also presenting or giving a vital role in the reporting section, right? Especially in the when you look at the annual reports, we can find lots of non-financial reporting, basically sustainability reporting, then integrated reporting, those kind of things we can learn under this. And especially the corporate governance, you know, all the organization which is listed in the share market have to follow the corporate governance code, which is introduced by Sri Lanka and SEC Sri Lanka, right? So CSC Sri Lanka, right, both together they have introduced a particular code called the corporate governance. All the listed entities in Colombo Stock Exchange have to adopt, have to comply with those regulations. And also there's a separate code for the finance companies, for the banks, right? Likewise, the corporate governance, good governance that that sort of a public interest entities have to follow comes under this corporate governance. So we are going to have a good idea about the corporate governance under this section. Under that, we learned non-financial reporting, corporate governance theories and the practices, and contemporary issues and the trends on the corporate governance. What are the recent trends that happen in the corporate governance, right? And the board of directors, right? Especially who are the board of directors, who are the non-executive, who are the executive, what should be the composition of the boards, and what are the board appointed committees. Those kind of things we're going to be learn under this board of directors. So that section will cover around 15% of your total syllabus. And finally, if we look at the final part, which is the ethical issues in the financial reporting and the regulatory framework, because you know all accountants are preparing financial statement by using in some cases we may have to use assumptions, estimates, right? In that case, someone can manipulate this assumption or estimate. By doing so, they can manipulate the financial reporting. But what is the accountant's ethical requirement not to do so will be learned under this chapter. So we wanted to learn about this financial issues or the ethical issues in the financial reporting. We learn that have a 5% weightage in your syllabus. So that is basically your syllabus comes under the advanced business reporting, right? From the coming lectures, from the coming videos, you can cover each topics. We are following that particular order when we are delivering the videos to you. So you can log at any time convenient for you, and make sure that you thoroughly understand the syllabus contents which is given in the syllabus, and which will be help you to pass the examination at your first attempt. So we'll be meeting from the video sessions for each lessons. Thank you very much for joining.